hello and welcome. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET Now with me, Snehisha, and with me as always is Ankita Saxena. This is a show where we'll take you through all the stocks that are buzzing in today's trade, give you a technical as well as a fundamental check on a couple of those stocks, and all of this will be done within a minute. But before we kickstart the show, let's take a look at what the markets are doing and holding up pretty solid, for the Nifty right now. A 0.6% uptick coming in comfortably above those 24,400 levels, Ankita.
Absolutely, Snehi. In fact, the December seasonality is playing out. Maybe the Santa rally is on the cards, and as we can see, it's the third straight session of gains for the markets. In fact, Nifty is sitting pretty above the 24,400 levels. Sensex is also holding up to 520 odd point gains. Bank Nifty is in tandem, trading with gains of 560 odd points, up a percent. The broader markets, in the broader markets, mid-cap index is of course outperforming the benchmarks. This is the 8th session of advance for both the small cap and mid-cap stocks. Sectorally, we are seeing a bit of a reversal coming in. Nifty Realty, that was the top sectoral gainer yesterday, is under a bit of a selling pressure, and Nifty PSU banks that have been seeing decline for the last two trading sessions are the top sectoral gainers. It's up almost 2.3%, hitting its 3-week high. Union Bank, Canara, we also have Bank of Baroda, Bank of India. They're all trading with gains of over 3%, and of course, the cake has been taken away by HDFC Bank. That is, hit its record high levels. It has crossed its market cap of 14 lakh crores, and it has become the third largest company by market cap, of course, after RIL and TCS. So big news coming in on HDFC Bank as well. A largely good positive day of markets coming in, and like I said, there could be a Santa rally on the anvil, by the looks of it at least, Sneh.
Well, let's not speak too soon, Ankita. Let's hope that we actually see this turn into a reality. But on that note, then, let's kickstart the show and bring on board Osho Krishan, Senior Analyst, Technical and Derivative Research at Angel One. And from our in-house research team, today Ria is joining us on the show. Good afternoon to both of you, and thanks for taking the time out to join us on Market Fatafat. I'm going to kickstart the show with a stock that's buzzing away in today's trade, and that is MOIL on the back of an operational update coming in by the company. Now, the company has achieved its best ever November production of 1.63 lakh tons of manganese ore in November. The company has achieved production of 11.8 lakh tons of manganese ore during the first 8 months of calendar year 25, registering a growth of 8.46% compared to the same period last year. The company has achieved sales of 1.3 lakh tons of manganese ore in November, which is up 32% year on year, and sales figures for the April to November period stood at 9.9 lakh tons, which is up roughly 5% on a year on year basis. Now, it has also carried out exploratory core drilling of 63,650 meters up to the 1st of November, which is 1.28 times over the previous year. So solid growth coming in across metrics for MOIL. Stock is holding up pretty well and very close to today's highest point as well, 6%. In fact, excess of 6% gains coming in for this stock just on an intraday basis alone.
Alright, that's MOIL buzzing away in trade, up 6% on the back of the operational updates. But Osho, on the charts, you have picked out MOIL, and this one's been in a long corrective phase of the last 6 months. It's in the last 1 month that the stock has started moving up. So from here on, where do you see this counter going up? Osho, you need to unmic yourself.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Firstly, very good afternoon to both of you. Well, coming to the technical perspective of MOIL, then this counter has been into a very strong corrective phase from a higher zone of nearly 580 towards the zone of 280 odd levels. But in the last two trading sessions, there has been a decent accumulation that has been seen in this counter. And from here onwards, specifically today, the strong bounce has been backed by very strong volume. So I expect that from the in the coming period, there can be a decent up move in this counter. There has been a kind of trend reversal, although it is very early to say. Once it breaches the zone of 345, then it can give a conviction on the higher end that from here onwards, there can be a decent followed up buying in this counter. But for now, 345 being the first intermediate resistance for the counter. The time it breaches the zone, we can see a drastic up move towards the zone of 400, 410 in very short term time frame perspective.
Alright, moving on to the other counter that is buzzing away in trade is one of the top Nifty gainers is Adani Ports. It's trading with gains of 6% on healthy volume guidance and a buy call coming in by Motilal Oswal and the company's management. If you look at the operational updates after the company has reported handling 36 million metric tons of cargo in the month of November. This marks 21% growth in the container segment, and over the first 11 months of 2024, Adani Ports has handled 293 MMT of cargo, which reflects a 7% growth on a year-on-year basis. Additionally, its logistics rail volume have also increased 10% during the period, and the company's management has reiterated a for FY25 cargo volume guidance of 460 MMT to 480 MMT. It is well positioned to hit the upper end of FY25 EBITDA guidance of 17,000 to 18,000 crores. That's the word coming in from the management. And also Motilal Oswal Financial Services maintaining a buy call on Adani Ports with a target price of 1,530 rupees per share on the back of the bullish brokerage note, and of course the operational and the guidance coming in from the management. Adani Ports is up in a way 6.2% in trade.
Okay, so now the high flyer in today's trade, Adani Ports. Let's move on. Then Osho, you've picked out Apple India on the charts for us. Last 6 months is when the stock has seen some real returns and some real gains coming in, up 50%, in fact slightly more than 50% as well. Tell us, what's the outlook going ahead? Do you see this momentum sustaining on the charts as well?
See, there is very strong and very positive observation in Apple India in the coming period. There has been a very strong vertical rally that has been seen from the zone of 1050 towards the zone of 1700, and there has been a time-wise corrective phase in which the counter was almost for 3 to 4 months. But in the last 2 trading sessions, there has been a very strong breakout. And looking at the price extension in this counter, the first target that comes around, which is the approximately 50% of the rally, it is approximately 1755, 1760. But from here onwards, the rally is expected to have a further up move towards the zone of nearly 1940 to 2000 in the very short term time frame. So definitely one should keep track of this counter and use dips to accumulate for a higher target of 1950 to 2000.
Alright, that's Apple India on the charts. But another high flyer in trade today, Ria, is KPIT Tech. It's trading with gains of 7.2%. Tell us, what's the news flow here?
Well, absolutely. So KPIT Tech has gained almost 7% today after a bullish note coming in from JP Morgan. Now, the brokerage has maintained its overweight rating on the stock with a target price of rupees 1900, which signals a potential upside of 42% from the current levels. Now, JP Morgan has described KPIT as a fallen hero that can rise again, emphasizing that the near-term softness that we've experienced is only transient in nature and not a structural concern. They've also said that the company's focus on EV and hybrid vehicle investments remains intact, albeit it is progressing at a gradual pace. Now, going forward, a key catalyst for growth is the QIP funds, which KPIT plans to deploy for multiple tuck-in M&As, and JP Morgan's analysis suggests a limited downside risk, just about 10% in a bear case, and a base case upside of 42%. Reacting to this, the stock is up more than 7% as we speak.
Okay, so that's KPIT Tech in focus. Osho, coming to you, you've picked out Geo Financial on the charts. Now it's gone as high as 380, 382, but it's slipped quite significantly from those levels. Last 6 months also slightly under pressure. Tell us, what's the outlook going ahead?
See, overall, there has been a very positive divergence that is being seen in this counter. On technical front, we are witnessing a positive divergence on majority of the technical oscillator front. So I'm expecting that the short-term bottom has been made in this counter. Also, in the last week, there has been a strong consolidation near the cluster of its short-term moving average, and today there has been a breakout of consolidation zone. So I expect that from here onwards, there can be a continued rally that can be seen in this counter. Immediately 345 to 355 is the range where the counter can see some kind of immediate hurdle, but I expect the time it reaches the zone of 355, there can be again decisive upsurge that can be seen in the coming period for a higher target of nearly 390 to 400 from medium term time frame perspective.
Alright, moving on to the next counter, Coal India and BPCL that are in focus today. Coal India and BPCL have signed a non-binding MOU to explore setting up a coal synthetic natural gas project at WCL through surface coal gasification. The company's coal production increased 2.4% to 471 million tons in the April to November period of the current fiscal year as compared to the 460 MT of coal a year ago. Now, the CIL accounts for over 80% of the domestic coal production. The production rose by 1.7% to 67.2 MT in the month of November. On the back of that MOU, Coal India and BPCL are in focus today.
Okay, let's move on. Osho, so CG Power is a stock that you've picked out for us. Year to date, very healthy returns coming in, but last 6 months that rally seems to have fizzled out slightly. Tell us, is it time for some healthy gains going ahead, or are you expecting more of the slowdown that we've been seeing recently for this stock?
See, as you mentioned, there has been a very strong consolidation in CG Power in the last 4 months there has been no major traction in this counter, but the counter is hovering in a very strong zone at a higher stage. So I expect that the zone of nearly 775 to 780 still prevails as a very strong resistance for the counter, and the time it breaches the zone of 780 on a decisive manner, there can be a rally of approximately 100 to 120 odd points. That means the target comes around the zone of 900 for this counter. So I am quite bullish in this counter, just expecting that another 20 point of rally can be seen as an opportunity to accumulate this counter, whereas on the lower end, it is having a very strong support of the 700 and 690 odd zone. So if there will be any kind of dip, that should be also augur well for the buyers, and on the higher end, if there will be any kind of breakout, that should be also auguring very well for the buyers in this counter.
All right, with that, it's time for a quick breather. You don't go anywhere. After the break, we're getting you a lot more buzzers and trades, so stay tuned.
Hi there, welcome back to Market Fatafat. Thanks so much for staying tuned to ET Now. Let's keep it going with all the big buzzers in today's trade. And the next stock in focus today is Torrent Power. Because Torrent Power yesterday post-market hours opened its qualified institutional placement, also known as QIP, seeking to raise potentially 3,500 crores by selling 4.6% of the company's equity stake. The floor price for the QIP was set at 1,555.75 rupees per equity share, as announced earlier, representing a 1.6% discount to Torrent Power's closing price on NSE yesterday. The proceeds from the QIP will be used for repaying certain borrowings of Torrent Power and its subsidiaries and for general corporate purposes. The issue includes a 90-day lock-in period for participants, and reports earlier also suggested that Torrent Power, which is the energy arm of the Gujarat-based Torrent Group, planned to raise anywhere between 3 and 4,000 crores through the QIP to fund acquisitions and organic growth initiatives, including capital expenditure for new projects and working capital requirements. So they've opened their QIP yesterday post-market hours, and on the back of that, you saw that stock is up 5%.
All right, moving on to the next count from Torrent Power. RIL is what you picked out on the charts for us. In fact, in today's trading session, Osho, Reliance and HDFC are really powering the markets, lifting the mood. But tell us what you see on the charts for this one. It's been in a corrective phase in the last 6 months. Last one month, it has started moving up. Tell us from here on, where does this go?
See, overall, the technical perspective looks very promising for Reliance, because last year in the month of December, the counter have given a breakout around the zone of 1250, 1245 odd levels. This year again, the counter has retested the same lows and have started gaining some traction from the lower end. And also, there has been positive news flows related to the oil exploration company, so that also gives a positive trigger to this counter. Technically, this counter have seen a very strong reversal from a very strong support zone, so I expect that in the coming period there can be a gradual up movement in this counter. Immediately the target is around 1380 to 1400, and the time it breaches the zone of 1400, we can see the upsurge to continue towards 1460 in a very short term period. So overall, this counter looks very promising on the technical chart with terms of better risk and reward perspective.
Okay, so promising outlook coming in for RIL from Osho. Ria, coming to you now. The next stock that you have picked for us is Cummins on the back of a brokerage note coming in. Tell us what the note entails.
Well, absolutely. So Motilal Oswal has come out with a note on Cummins India after a plant visit to the company. Now they have a buy rating on the stock with a target price of rupees 4,300, which is an upside of more than 25%. Now their recent interaction with the management has reinstated that the demand has continued to remain strong for the power gen segment from key user industries, and additionally other segments such as the distribution and the industrial segment continue to benefit from the initiatives that have been taken over the years to enhance their customer reach, and the overall positive macro environment has also augured well for the company. Now the company has also transitioned well in the CPCB 4+ norm shift and expects the market to normalize in the coming quarters. Now even the export markets are recovering selectively, and with cost efficiencies and value addition in the products, the company aims to maintain its margins at similar levels as in H1 of FY25. On the back of this note coming in, bullish note coming in from Motilal, the stock has popped up almost 3% right now.
Alright, that's Cummins India, but coming to you, Osho, Sun TV is what you've picked out for us. What do you see in the charts for this counter? This counter has been doing decent. I mean, it's given out gains of 4% in the last 1 month. Where do you see this counter headed? I'm not seen too many techies talk about Sun TV, but tell us, what are you seeing on the charts for this one?
See, there are basically very strong observation that is being seen in the charts of Sun TV. Firstly, there has been a sloping trend line of the recent swing highs in this counter. Secondly, the counter was into a very strong consolidation zone for approximately 6 trading sessions. And today there has been a consolidation breakout, which has given this counter to emerge above the short-term moving average. So I'm expecting that in the coming period, there can be a decent upsurge in this counter. Immediately 820, 815 is the zone where it can see some kind of resilience, but the time it breaches the zone of 820, then we can see a further continuation, but that will be on a gradual slow basis. Overall, it is looking very positive for short-term traders. 820 should be the target that one can eye for in a very short-term time frame.
Alright, that's Sun TV on the charts, but another mover in today's trading session is Cipla, because the promoter has sold 1.72% stake via block deal. And the buyers include some marquee names like Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, Goldman Sachs, Singapore PTE, Government of Singapore, BofA Securities Europe, Axis Mutual Fund, Bandhan Mutual Fund, along with others. You bought 1.38 crores worth of shares at 1,518 rupees, 0.75 rupees per share. On the back of this big block deal coming in, Cipla is in focus today, trading with gains of almost 2%.
Okay, so promoter stake sale keeping that stock in focus today, roughly 2% gain. But while that's the fundamental news coming in on Cipla, Osho, you've picked out Cipla for us on the charts also, and last 6 months it's not done anything. In fact, it's been very lackluster for this stock. 4% uptick coming in just in the last 6 months. So tell us, what's the outlook going ahead, and now do you believe this stock could pick onto some momentum and give good returns?
See, overall, as you mentioned, that this counter has not given very strong performance in the last 1 to 2 months, but overall, if we are seeing the technical perspective, then the counter has been taking support or hovering near the 200-day simple moving average in the last 2 trading weeks. And I expect that in the coming period, if it is able to breach the zone of 1540, then we can see a continuation on the higher end. Now, rationale behind this is that the technical supports are having or are facing a very supportive bullish stance in this counter. So I expect that one day or a follow-up buying if can be seen in this counter above the zone of 1550, that should be auguring very well. The counter is placed at a very strong support, and any breakthrough above 1550 can boost this counter for immediate upside target of nearly 1600 to 1620. And if again it breaches the zone of 1620, then we can see a double bottom formation in this counter for a higher target of nearly 1740.
So big targets coming from Osho for Cipla, but let's move on. Talk about Swiggy. That stock is in focus now. 2 reasons why. Yesterday, just a few minutes before market close, they announced the expansion of the 10-minute bold delivery to 400 cities. So that was a positive news flow. But the reason the stock is in focus today is its earnings that are expected post-market. First set of earnings coming in for this company post its listing. Now on the sequential basis, on the consolidated basis, this is what JM Financial is penciling in. Revenue from operations expected to be around 3,562 crores, which is up 10.5%. EBITDA loss expected to narrow by 15%. The net loss also is expected to in fact narrow by 20.3% on a sequential basis. Now if you take a look at it segmentally, food delivery GOV expected to go up 6%, gross take rate to be flat anywhere between 24.3 25.4 levels. The quick commerce, which is the Instamart business, GOV is expected to grow by 15%, and gross take rate also expected to jump quite sharply at 15.5% compared to 14.8%. Here's what JM Financial is expecting. Key operating metrics could improve meaningfully in a Q2. The food delivery profitability is likely to improve meaningfully to 1.8% of GOV versus 0.8% of GOV in Q1, and lower platform discounts and operating leverage benefits will aid the performance. Now, what's going to be important to watch is its performance compared to Zomato's previous quarter performance, and also the path to profitability. So watch out for Swiggy today. Numbers expected post-market hours.
All right, moving on then from Swiggy, we will be watching out for that because it's likely to report its quarter, its numbers for the first time after listing. But let's come to you, Osho. Then you've picked out Tata Communications for us on the charts. This counter has given very marginal gains in the last 6 months, also in the last 1 month, also like 2 to 3% gain is what's coming in on Tatacom. But from here on, do you see this stock doing better?
Yes, as you mentioned, this counter has not seen any kind of positive movement in the last 1 to 2 trading months. Even it has plunged from the zone of 2150 towards the zone of 1750, 1740 odd levels. But today, after a very strong or longer period of consolidation near the zone of 1750, the counter has started gaining traction and has emerged above the 20-day exponential moving average that has been supported by very strong stance on the positive RSI. So I expect that from here onwards, the short-term bottom for this counter has been made, and there can be a continuation towards the zone of 1865 on a very short-term perspective. And also the time it breaches the zone of 1865, then I expect around 1920 kind of a zone can be seen in this counter in short-term perspective. So overall, the technical looks very good in this counter, and also from risk-reward point of view, one can definitely try to add this counter for a higher target of 1920 in a short-term time span.
Okay, on that note, it's time to take a short breather on this edition of Market Fatafat. We'll slip into a very short break, but keep it going with all the buzzers on the other side. So you stay tuned, we'll be right back.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.